welcome back to the Home Ed Half. I'm Luce. This will probably be episode 1 of The Jar, which is a series I wanted to do about how I get my boys engaged in learning. And the jar is literally a glass jar. It's an old coffee pot and it's full of questions that they ask, and they always ask the best questions, but I never have the time to get into it with them, or I do have the time but I don't have the stuff. So I have the time and the stuff today, so let's get into it. Our question today, so what I plan on doing today is actually making a little display for my youngest, so that what he learnt yesterday, it doesn't just get put in the bookshelf at the back of his mind and then never referred to again. So he can see it, he can read it and refresh his memory. And the question that he pulled out of the jar yesterday was, why do houseflies fly right below the main light in your room? Whatever room you're in, as soon as the light goes on, bang, there's flies around it. Not moths, not thunder flies, whatever you call them, the little blue bottle houseflies. Why are they always flying under the main light? I don't know what I thought the answer would be, but it's far more interesting than what I thought it would be. And it turns out that some sea creatures do the same things. Now, don't get too excited. This doesn't mean you're going to have a blue whale enter into your lounge and start circling your main light. Sorry to break it to you, that's just not going to happen. Ben was also quite disappointed. Although James, my oldest, he thinks that flying sharks could be a thing because the word dorsal is in the scientific explanation for it. So let's get into it. I've got all the bits I think I need, including a cup of tea, and the boys aren't here with me today, so sometimes they might be, so you might hear voices or even see them, but today they're with their dad, so I actually have the peace and quiet to get this done. And I want to get it done without him because I want him to walk into a really nice display. As you can see, I have stuff on all of my windows, something different. So jar things, I think I might just sort of pepper our learning space with it, so it doesn't look too boring. It's got something somewhere to look at. And you never know, we might be repeating questions, and that's fine because maybe we can go deeper into it, or they've just plainly forgotten. So first off, I'm going to have to draw a fly, and I'm going to try and make this is feeling very Blue Peter already, isn't it? I'm going to try and make this as painless as possible for me to draw a fly. I've never drawn a fly, so here we go. And I'm hoping one day to actually do these live, because I hate editing. I hate it. It's pain in my ass is what it is, and I can't be arsed, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just not technically minded, so I'm not editing. I refuse it. I'm going to keep this because these were all of our buzzwords yesterday, and you probably can't see it, but that's his little cluster of flies, that's the light, and so he thought they fly around the light because they go crazy, and they do look a little bit crazy. There doesn't seem to be any point to their flying, and there kind of isn't actually in the explanation, so he's right, I guess so. And usually when we do a jar topic, I try and come up with 6 science words that we can just go through, and I'm not expecting him to remember all 6 of them. I can't. I get to 5, there's always one missing, so I can't expect him to. But if he just takes one of them and he can explain it comprehensively in his own words, perfect, that's great. So the first time that I sort of pulled out 6 words was when he was asking, how come when I make a glass of juice, so cordial, I pour in the cordial into the water and I don't have to stir it, it kind of just mixes all on its own. And I knew what he was describing was diffusion, but I thought, how do I get him there? Because there's so many more words than just the diffusion. So there is polarity, molecular, diffusion itself, kinetic and potential energy, because we kind of segued off a little bit. And then see, there you go, I've forgotten all the 6 already. And it feels very big to kind of get a globally delayed 9-year-old to the place that is like diffusion. It's so just I break it down, break it down, break it down, break it down, and I keep going until I reach him educationally, and then I can build on that. And sometimes I have to really break it down, and sometimes he's just in the room with me and it clicks, which is beautiful. So yesterday we googled why do flies fly around the main light, and the few words that we got from it was photoreceptors, photons, electrosignals, optic nerve, flight attitude, and then the behaviour itself, which is called the dorsal light response. So I've got my laptop here as well, just to refresh my memory, because when you are also the dinner lady, the nurse, the dog walker, the cleaner, all of it sometimes just goes straight in and out the other. So we're all in this together, I suppose. So I'm going to get on with drawing my fly. I've never really paid attention to what a fly looks like, so I'm just gonna draw a big fly. Here we go. Yeah, and I'm hoping to do these live because it would just be easier. I hate editing. I didn't think I would hate it. I do. I hate it. Can't stand it. Just seems to be so much harder for me than it needs to be. Adding music, and I have another YouTube channel which is me and my little motorbike, and it must have been an absolute fluke how I edited that first one, because I can't remember, and I go in and I press all the buttons and nothing's working, so I give up. I have given up. You've made editing too hard. I have given up. So I'm just going to go live on my home ed one. I'm sure actually Jim Jam could probably help me. He's quite techie. All the kids are, aren't they? Growing up around it. With a head and legs. This is the world's worst fly. Well, I never claimed to be an artist, so here we go. And also, because James isn't here, I can use felt tips, because he literally, like, he can't stand the sound of felt tips. He can't do it. So I get to use felt tips today. Hooray! Cup of tea. I've been at work this morning. When I'm at work, I have a 5:30 alarm, which I don't actually mind, but it gets to about this time in the afternoon and I have to have a nap. I'm getting old. I didn't know this is what old looked like. Here we go. And I know, don't worry, I can hear you all saying flies aren't black. I know, the blue bottles that we're on about, they're not black, but I'm just going to go black for now. I'm kind of wondering as well, like how many people know about stuff like this? Does this get taught in a school, like the dorsal light response, or is that a university thing? Because, hold on, let me Google it. Because I don't think it's all sea creatures. I think it is just ones that are in the top layer. And I've even forgotten what that layer of the ocean is, because it's to do with flies can't rely on gravity to understand what is up and what is down. So the dorsal light response is them putting their back parallel to the sun to help them understand that that is down and that is up. And if sea creatures do the same, it must only be the creatures that are in the layers of the ocean where the sunlight can pass through, because the deeper down you go, the less sunlight goes. And I've forgotten what those, is it 2 layers? 2 layers of the ocean? Oh. See, the trouble is, if I learn too much, I'll forget to do things like how to brush my teeth. So I actually, like, it's dangerous for me to learn too much. Here we go. What is the dorsal light response? Yeah, it is response. I was going to say effect then. Response. So then that also means that the reason why the flies are so gathered under your light is because it's a really concentrated light, because when it's the sun, they're kind of spread across huge areas of the sky because the sun is everywhere. But at night time, when it's a very concentrated point of light, they all just flock to it. And then the sort of the crazy flight pattern they do is because they're always trying to keep their back parallel to the light, which is the zigzaggy that they're doing. There doesn't seem to be a point to it. And it looks like a very exhausting behaviour for them because they're kind of trapped within it. So I do have some sympathy for the flies now. Right, so officially, the dorsal light response, or the DLR, is a natural reflexive behaviour where animals, particularly flying insects and aquatic species, orient their backs towards the brightest visual source. Historically, this helps them keep their backs to the sky to sense up, maintaining balance and stay on a level flight plan. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I'm still annoyed by it, it's still distracting, but at least now I know why they're doing it. I should bring biscuits next time. But I often hear home-ed families are completely by accident teaching university level topics because the kids have asked a very niche question, and if they're just answering the question, then that sort of dose of education doesn't seem so big because you're just answering the question. So I don't ever remember in school learning about dorsal flight responses. And I probably wouldn't actually, because animal behaviours aren't really, maybe they are now. When I was at school, that wasn't covered at all. It was very much like herbivore, omnivore, nocturnal, nothing that was sort of this in depth. But then I only really answered the question. I didn't really go into like habitats of flies, because the beauty of the jar is it's where his mind takes him. It's not where I necessarily think it's logical sense of where the topic should go. It's following his curiosity, which is amazing. Which is how we actually got onto the optical nerve, and I think briefly the Kodak camera as well, because the optic nerve and the camera kind of, they do the same thing, they reverse the image. So, right, I need to draw two very big eyes because flies have massive eyes. And I don't have googly eyes in my craft drawer that are big enough anyway. Maybe I just do two silly eyes myself. No, that was okay. Whenever I think of a blue bottle fly as well, I instantly think of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, because there's a dead, in the book, there's a dead blue bottle on the windowsill, and the housekeeper, when she, I can't remember the book very well, it was a long time, but I think in the book she was kind of written about as being a bit uppity and very particular with her housekeeping and not very nice to the children. In the film, I don't think they focused on her very much, but I always thought the dead blue bottle on the windowsill contradicted how good she was as a housekeeper, because surely, like, if us could spot the blue bottle on the windowsill because it's written there in the page, surely the housekeeper, the very proud housekeeper, would have spotted it as well. I just thought it was a shame that they didn't really include that in the film. I don't think they did. Right, one big fly eye. Oh boys, you're gonna have to use your imagination on this fly. Okay. Do I have? I do. Aha, perfect. I even looked at the glitter. I thought, can I get away with putting glitter on the fly? Because the boys, I swear to God, James will come out in hives if I make him do arts and crafts. He hates it. Ben's great. He's going through a phase of colouring in quite a lot, which is kind of new. He never used to. It's lovely. Right, big head, massive eyes. Here is my fly that is going to fly around our light in our room forevermore because of the dorsal light response. So I wonder then if moths and any other flying insects that is drawn to light, I wonder if they all have the dorsal light response. Where's the scissors? Oh, these, the most annoying scissors I've ever bought. Child safe, more like rage inducing. I really would love to do these live so I can actually chat to you all and talk to other home editors. Do you guys also have a time of the week that you find is best to do these kinds of things? Because all my window displays, I kind of have to do it when the boys aren't around, because you just constantly get hijacked into conversations about Pokemon, or I know far too much about that show. What's it called? It was on YouTube and they did a showing in the cinema. What's it called? Science Circus or something? Something like that. My 13-year-old was watching it, not the 9-year-old. He was kind of in the room watching it, but it didn't go in. That, if anyone has seen that, it's a bit heavy, isn't it? I mean, it's very well executed. It's an adult cartoon. It's not really for kids. There's no like sex in it or anything, so it's not anything like that. But it's got quite serious storylines. And even at times I couldn't follow it. I had to pause it and ask questions. Which James is very, very patient with me. I'm very lucky because he'll have to answer my questions all the live long day. Right, I have my fly. It's not a great fly. I don't claim to be an artist, but it is my fly. And I'm going to laminate it, but what I'm going to do on the back is I'm going to write the question that Ben pulled out of the jar. So, why do flies fly around the main light? And then our answer is the dorsal light response. Who knew? There really is literally a name for everything. The dorsal light response. So how can I explain this in a way, because he doesn't quite understand what it means to be parallel to something yet. He knows what gravity is. I tell you what, we're going to go for it. I'm going to put the word parallel and I'm going to highlight it, and then when he asks me I can then explain it, and I will keep explaining it if he needs me to. That's a good brew, that is. Right, there's no point in highlighting in yellow because the colour yellow isn't photostable, and the longer something with yellow in is on display, and if sunlight gets to it, it'll fade. So maybe I just circle it. Yeah, I'll circle it. Right, the dorsal light response, which is flying insects put their backs towards the sun, parallel. Oh my God, how many R's are in parallel? Parallel. Do you ever write a word and it doesn't look right, but it's right? I bet there's a name for that as well. Parallel. Flying insects put their backs towards the sun, parallel, to help them make sense of what's up and down. So do, right, Google. Do flies think light bulbs are the sun? Oh, okay, so they don't think the light is the sun, it just triggers the same response. Okay. They are triggered by the, I'm going to do the DLR, triggered by the bulb, and what's that word when you present the behavior? DLR. Okay, perfect. And then, so I'm going to laminate that in a minute. And then I'm also going to do some hanging words of the science words that came off of the dorsal light response. So we had photons, photoreceptors, which is the fly eyes. So why the fly eyes, I'm going to double check that as well. I think from yesterday, fly eyes are that big because of the photoreceptors. Are flies' eyes so big because of photoreceptors? Yes. Okay. Oh my God, it's the stuff of nightmares, that is. Oh. So we've got photons, photoreceptors, electrosignals, which I might leave out, that's probably a bridge too far. Yeah, I think I'll just do photons and photoreceptors, because then we do drift into the optic nerve and then the Kodak camera, which was a lovely segue, but we spent a huge chunk of our time talking about the dorsal light response. So for me, the appetite was there, and I think we went off onto the camera because he was getting a bit fatigued with information. So I'll throw that in the bin for now. We can come back to that another time. I need a shape. I'm going to use this. So photons, which I have a science experiment in the cupboard for that. So we can do that. I think it's a pair of glasses in a science experiment. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Okay. Okay. Now, really simple explanation for photons and photoreceptors. Simple explanation for photons. I know it's something to do with cones, so, or is that the receptors? You have cone-shaped receptors and then another shape, and they both do something different. A photon is the fundamental particle of light. Okay. Okay, a photon is a really important particle of light, and I'll circle particle. Photons are really important particles. And then, so if he asks about that, I can do the Isaac Newton experiment where you can, if you have a prism, that's great. You can make one out of laminated sheets and sellotape. I'd use a glue gun, fill it with water, and then shine your iPhone torch through it, and you should still get the visible spectrum. It's not the best way to do it, but if you find yourself without a prism, then you can make one. Are really important particles of light, and in brackets I'm going to do Isaac Newton experiment. Because I feel like when I was teaching James about the electromagnetic field and the visible spectrum, it's really cool to get that rainbow. And our downstairs toilet doesn't have any windows in, so we can do really cool light experiments in there because it is pitch black. But trying to explain the absence of light, it's almost too big. It's when you really think of it, it's too big, I think. It kind of even blows my mind that, and that's when I really admire teachers, because I think how are you getting everybody there? I'm just trying to get one kid there and I've got all the time in the world. How are you getting 30 of them there? Right, photoreceptors. A nice simple explanation for photoreceptors. Oh. Photoreceptors are specialised light-detecting cells in the retina at the back of the eye that convert light into electrical signals, and this is why it led him onto the optic nerve. Okay. Rods and cones, that's it. Rods and cones. Okay, right, so photoreceptors are really special cells in the retina. Okay, those are really special cells in the retina at the back of the eye. And then in brackets, rods and cones. Okay. Okay. Right, let's cut these out. So I know he's going to see this and he'll ask me, and he can ask me until hell freezes over, and we will talk about it as many times as he needs, because his comprehension sometimes takes quite a long time. But I'd rather that he keep asking and we keep going over it than he feel like he can't ask because it's irritating. So So, photons, photoreceptors, and the dorsal light response. All from me getting essentially pissed off that there are flies flying around my main light while I'm trying to watch TV. And why aren't they attracted to the TV? Is it a competition of light because the light lights up the whole room, but then the TV? No, the TV wouldn't, because if I turned the light off, the TV would just sort of light up there, wouldn't it? Sort of. There you go, see? Me getting annoyed is inspiring education. What can I say? Right, so maybe I stick those two together. Oh, they could have been the eyes of the fly. Ah, can I do it? Where's my fly? Where have I put my fly? Oh no. Here he is. No, I can't do it. That would have been a stroke of genius. Next time. Next time. Maybe he'll ask about the dung beetle, because they have eyes. Maybe. Right, I'm just going to throw that on the floor for now. Team that up in a minute. Put that down there. I actually really love doing little displays for them. They don't care. They didn't ask for any of this. I love it. I do it for them all the time. Bloody love it. Gutted, I could have done eyes for that. Oh well. 'Tis done. It is done. I need to cut it out. Oh no, I can't. I can't. How's that going to fit? Like that. Perfect. That can fit like that, and then they can fit there. Oh, look at that. It's all coming up Millhouse. And then I can put a hole punch through that and then hang it like a little decoration. Maybe I can hang it from the bottom of there so he knows it's together. Amazing. So this whole learning about the dorsal light response probably took us about 90 minutes, which is pretty good actually, and it means I can refer back to it. So if he takes an interest in marine biology, he might remember, oh hey, we did that when we were talking about flies, because you got annoyed, we were trying to watch Coraline and you were getting really annoyed at the flies, which the UK is having a bit of a fly problem. It's not my gross house. There's a fly problem because we've had, I think the weather lady said, 3 weeks of no rain and a heat wave, that we have got an extraordinary amount of flies at the minute. And they're everywhere and they're very annoying. And it's the sound. The sound is annoying, how erratic they are is annoying, all of it. But they have a place in the food chain, so we can't get too mad. But hey, what are we gonna do? So here I am. I'm going to put these through the laminator. I'm going to dangle them off the light like the flies do. And now we know. Flies fly around your main light because it's their reflexive behaviour called the dorsal light response. See you next time.